What if I told you that the health of your penis, your energy, your drive, your confidence could be revived not with pills, not with surgery, but with something so simple, so natural, it might already be sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now? I know that sounds far-fetched. I wouldn't have believed it myself, not without seeing it firsthand. But I have. In fact, I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even a few in their 80s, walk into my office tired, deflated, almost ready to give up. Then just weeks later, they return with a new light in their eyes. And it didn't happen because of something high-tech or high-dollar. It happened because of one spoonful of something they took before bed, night after night. That's it. Now, what exactly is in that spoonful, and why does it work? That's what I'm going to walk you through today, piece by piece. But before I do, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Edward. I'm a retired urologist and men's health specialist with over 35 years of experience. I spent my career here in Greenville, South Carolina, helping older men regain not just their function, but their sense of self, that powerful confidence that comes when you know your body still works like it should. And today, I want to talk to just one man. You, a man who's noticed things slowing down. Maybe your erections aren't what they used to be. Maybe you feel tired more often, or you've quietly started to avoid intimacy. Maybe you're wondering if this is just the way aging goes. Well, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be. Not if you know how to give your body what it's asking for. That one spoonful I mentioned, it's not a gimmick. It's a nourishing blend of ingredients, ancient and modern, that naturally support blood flow, restore nitric oxide levels, and rejuvenate the very tissues that make you feel alive as a man. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, but not all at once. Because this isn't about dumping information on you. It's about peeling back the layers, one at a time, building understanding, momentum, and hope. Like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering strength as we go. So if that sounds like something you need, if you want to feel more confident, more energized, and more connected to the man you used to be, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss another tip made specifically for men over 55. And do me one small favor. Type in the comments which city you're watching from. I read every single one, because this isn't just a video. It's a conversation, and I'm here to guide you through it, step by step. So let's begin with the quiet problem that most men don't even realize is stealing their strength, and why it all starts with something as simple as blood flow. Let's talk about something that's been slowly draining your strength, not overnight, but inch by inch, year after year. You might not have seen it coming. Most men don't. At first, it's easy to dismiss. Maybe you wake up a little more tired. Maybe that morning firmness you used to count on isn't there anymore. You chalk it up to age, stress, or a few bad nights of sleep. And it makes sense until one day you realize it's not getting better. That's when it starts to sink in. The spark is duller. The engine just doesn't roar like it used to. But what if I told you the problem isn't just about testosterone or desire? What if the real issue is something simpler, but far more powerful? It's your blood flow. Now, I know that doesn't sound very dramatic, but bear with me because this one concept is the key to almost everything. Your energy, your erections, your confidence, even your memory and focus. Blood is life, and when it doesn't move like it used to, nothing feels the same. Think of your circulatory system like a set of garden hoses. When you were younger, the pressure was strong, the water flowed freely, and every part of your body got what it needed: oxygen, nutrients, hormones. But as time goes on, those hoses begin to harden. Plaque builds up, the pressure drops, and what once was a powerful stream becomes more like a trickle. Now imagine what that does to the most sensitive parts of your body, the nerves and tissues that make up your manhood. When blood can't reach them properly, they can't respond properly. And if that flow stays low for too long, those tissues begin to forget how to respond at all. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a medical reality. Studies show that by age 60, most men have already lost a significant amount of endothelial function. That's the ability of your blood vessels to open up when you need them to. That's why pills and pumps often stop working. They're trying to force a system that no longer has the basics in place. It's like trying to water a field through a rusted, kinked up hose. No matter how much pressure you add, nothing gets through the way it should. And the result? Weak erections, low energy, poor recovery, and a growing sense that something inside you has simply shut down. But here's the truth that too many men never hear. It's not gone. It's just blocked, congested, slow by time, yes, but not broken beyond repair. You see, blood flow is fixable, not just with prescriptions, but with real nourishment, with ingredients that actually support your vascular system, reduce inflammation, restore nitric oxide, and coach your body back to life the way nature intended. And that's where we begin to shift, because just identifying the problem isn't enough. The real power comes when you realize this can change. I've had men in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s come into my clinic looking defeated and leave with a plan that gave them hope. And every one of those plans started by addressing the root cause, not the symptom. They started by restoring healthy circulation. But that's only the beginning, because blood flow is step one, the foundation, the part that lets everything else happen. And what you're going to discover next is the exact spoonful that helps open up that circulation at night, while you sleep, when your body is at its most vulnerable and most ready to heal. I'll show you what's in that spoon. I'll show you why it works. And I'll share the story of a man who, after 10 days on this nightly ritual, said the words I'll never forget. Doc, I didn't just wake up with an erection. I woke up feeling like a man again. But we'll get there. For now, just understand this. What's been slowing you down isn't age. It's blockage, inflammation, a quiet constriction in your body's most important pathways. And once you learn how to open them again, everything else can follow. Stay with me, because what comes next is where the real change begins. A few years ago, a gentleman named James came to see me. He was 66, a retired firefighter, broad shoulders, quiet presence, but with a heaviness behind his eyes that told me something deeper was going on. He didn't rush to explain. In fact, he avoided the real topic for most of our visit. We talked about blood pressure, about cholesterol, about his knee pain. But I could tell there was something else. And right before he stood to leave, he paused, lowered his voice, and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore." Down there, it wasn't just about performance. It was about identity. Now, James wasn't on any major medication. His labs were mostly in the normal range. But he described exactly what so many men over 60 experience: a fading sense of response, fewer spontaneous erections, a lack of energy at night, and worst of all, a growing disconnection from his wife. "I love her," he said, "but I feel like I've disappeared." That hit me. And I knew we needed to start not with testosterone or fancy tests, but with the basics, the soil before the seed. We needed to revive his blood flow. And that's when I gave him something deceptively simple. I told him to take one spoonful before bed, not a medicine, but of a homemade tonic, a blend of raw honey, lemon juice, and a pinch of baking soda, stirred into warm water and sipped slowly, right before sleep. He looked at me sideways, like I'd just told him to wish on a star. But he trusted me, and here's why it worked. You see, raw honey is a powerful natural vasodilator. It gently widens blood vessels and supports healthy nitric oxide levels, especially when combined with acidic citrus and an alkalizing agent like baking soda. The lemon juice stimulates the liver and digestive enzymes, which play a quiet but critical role in hormone regulation. And the baking soda? That's the unsung hero. Most men don't realize this, but as we age, our internal environment becomes more acidic, thanks to stress, poor diet, and lack of movement. That acidity makes our blood vessels stiff and unresponsive. But baking soda helps neutralize that acid, bringing the pH back into balance and allowing blood to flow more freely. Together, this spoonful creates what I call a vascular reset. It's not a jolt like caffeine. It's a gentle restoration, allowing your blood vessels to relax, your tissues to receive nourishment, and your manhood to remember its purpose. Now, I didn't expect miracles overnight, but 10 days later, James came back to my office, and this time he sat taller. He smiled. He said, "Doc, I woke up this morning and I had a laugh because it was like being 30 again. No pressure, no stress, just there. That was just the beginning." You see, something else started happening too. His sleep improved. His mood lightened. His energy in the afternoon returned. His wife, who hadn't said much about it, gave him a look across the breakfast table that made him blush. It wasn't just about the erection. It was about the restoration. Blood was flowing again. And when that happens, everything else gets a chance to heal. The hormones, the nerves, the confidence. Now, I want to be clear. This remedy isn't magic. It's not a one-size-fits-all fix. But for thousands of older men, including James, it's been a gentle, effective way to start the healing process without a single pill. And I've seen it work time and time again. A single spoonful of raw honey, fresh lemon juice, and a pinch of baking soda in warm water, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. That's it. But that was only the beginning, because once James began to feel that inner spark again, we added a second step, a technique that didn't involve drinking anything at all, but touched something even more powerful: his body's forgotten switch. And what happened next was nothing short of remarkable. Let me show you the second method that took James and many other men from just having an erection to feeling fully alive again. James came back to see me 3 weeks later. He was different, not just in his words, but in the way he carried himself. His shoulders sat higher. His handshake was firmer. There was this subtle but unmistakable confidence, the kind that doesn't come from ego, but from something deeper, something restored. "Doc," he said, "it's not just the erections. It's everything. I feel like I'm back in my own body." Now, here's what most men don't understand, and most doctors never say out loud. Your penis doesn't work in isolation. It's not a switch on a wall. It's the tip of a complex, coordinated network of blood vessels, nerves, muscles, and hormonal signals. And when one part of that system weakens, the others start to suffer too. It's like a symphony where one section has gone quiet. So when James told me he was feeling better, I knew it was time to go deeper, to bring back the signals that aging often mutes, especially in the lower abdomen and pelvis. That's when I introduced him to something I call pelvic reflex activation. Now, don't let the term scare you off. This isn't complicated. It's actually as old as human movement. It's the practice of waking up forgotten nerve pathways using breath, pressure, and intention. I taught James to do it lying on his back each night before sleep. He would place a warm compress, just a small heated towel, over his lower belly and inner thighs. Not too hot, just enough to bring warmth and awareness to the area. Then, with one hand flat over his pubic bone, he'd apply light, rhythmic pressure in slow circles, while breathing deeply through his nose. This wasn't about massage. It was about communication, reconnecting touch with breath and awareness, activating nerve endings that had grown quiet over the years. And then came the second part. I showed him how to lightly tap, using just 2 fingers, the soft space between the base of his scrotum and his anus. It's a spot most men never think to touch. But in ancient medicine, it's known as a vital energy point. And in modern neurology, We now understand it stimulates the pudendal nerve, a key player in male arousal and blood flow. James was skeptical, of course. Most men are at first. "I'm not exactly a yoga guy," he said with a smirk. But he tried it. Every night, after his honey lemon drink, after brushing his teeth, he'd lay down, breathe, press gently, and feel into that space most men have been taught to ignore. 10 nights in, he called me. "Doc," he said, "this sounds crazy, but I swear I can feel blood moving again. Not just in the obvious way, but deeper, warmer, like something's waking up." And he was right. That's exactly what was happening. Because what most men don't realize is that blood flow alone isn't enough. You also need nerve activation. You need the signals to fire. And this technique, this nightly ritual of warmth, touch, and breath, helped James restore the full circuit. He started waking up with stronger erections. He noticed quicker response when he was intimate with his wife. But more than that, he told me he felt connected, present, like his body and mind were finally back on the same team. That's what this is all about. It's not just about sex. It's about sovereignty. It's about the quiet power of knowing your body still works. Not because of a pill or a product, but because you took the time to care for it. So yes, the spoonful of honey, lemon, and baking soda created the foundation. But this second method, it turned on the lights. It reconnected the wiring. It made James feel like a whole man again, not just physically, but emotionally. And I want that for you too, because I believe every man, no matter his age, deserves to feel that warmth again, that pulse of life that says, "I'm still here, I still work, and I still matter." Now, if you're wondering how exactly to use these techniques in the right order, or how long they take to work, stay with me. In just a moment, I'll walk you through the application process, share another patient success story, and reveal the most common mistake that ruins everything and how to avoid it. Because what you've heard so far is just the beginning. Here's how to do it properly. Each night before bed, stir 1 teaspoon of raw honey, 1 teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, and a pinch of baking soda into half a glass of warm water. Sip it slowly, about 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. This gives your blood vessels time to relax, your digestive system a break, and your nitric oxide levels a gentle boost right as your body enters its healing state. Then lie down comfortably. Place a warm towel over your lower abdomen and inner thighs for about 5 minutes. Breathe deeply. After that, use 2 fingers to gently press and circle just above your pubic bone. And finally, with care and intention, tap the space between your scrotum and anus, the hidden switch most men never activate. One of my patients, Harold, 69, had nearly given up. He said, "Doc, I feel invisible, even to myself." But within 2 weeks of doing this nightly ritual, he reported stronger morning erections, a brighter mood, and a surprising ease in reconnecting with his wife. And it's not just anecdotal. Studies now confirm that light tactile stimulation to the pelvic floor enhances pudendal nerve activity, boosts blood flow, and restores erectile function in aging men, especially when paired with nitric oxide enhancing compounds like those found in lemon and honey. But don't rush. The most common mistake is treating this like a task. This isn't something to check off a list. It's a ritual, a moment to reclaim your body's rhythm and honor your needs without shame or urgency. Avoid skipping nights or expecting instant results. Healing takes consistency. And don't use more baking soda than a pinch. Too much can disrupt your system. The goal here isn't just an erection. It's a return to connection, to confidence, to vitality. So if you want more natural methods like this, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and comment one below so I know this matters to you. Because it does. And so do you.